U.S. Olympic team members did use banned substances, both during the Rio Games and in earlier years. That's been revealed by hacked documents stolen from a database of the World Anti-Doping Agency. American athletes were given special permission to take drugs which are normally prohibited by the WADA, also known as WADA. According to the released information, one of the most famous faces in tennis, Serena Williams, was taking a number of these potentially banned substances, the ones that are on WADA's list. Her older sister Venus, as well as U.S. gymnasts Simone Biles and American basketball star Elena Delle Donne, were also found to have taken several drugs prohibited by the anti-doping watchdog. Guyane Chichikan picks up the story.
The leaked WADA documents purportedly show that a number of top U.S. athletes were allowed to take banned substances over a long period of time. As we understand, posted online were copies of therapeutic use exemption certificates. Tennis player Serena Williams was allowed to take banned substances in 2010, 2014, and 2015. Venus Williams was also allowed to take a number of substances prohibited by WADA for 4 consecutive years, beginning in 2010. Gymnast Simone Biles, who won 4 gold medals in the 2016 Olympics in Rio, is shown to have tested positive for methylphenidate on August 11th, the same day as she claimed Olympic all-around gold, gymnastics' most coveted prize. She tested positive for the same banned substance through her other competitions in the August Olympics. Biles was also apparently allowed to take dextroamphetamine in 2013 and 2014. That, too, is prohibited by WADA. We reached out to the Gymnastics Federation, and they said Biles took the substances for medical reasons.
She has a therapeutic use exemption. There is nothing we have to mention about that. Everything is absolutely clear and according to the rules. So she has a TUE which has been delivered by Sportacor. So don't try to look for problem when there is no problem. That's the only thing I can tell you.
The Tennis Federation made a similar statement on the Williams sisters, saying they had medical reasons to take the substances. Important to note here, the leaked papers do not show medical records or what the athletes were diagnosed with. Here's what the Tennis Federation also told us earlier.
The ITF was notified by WADA earlier today that ADAMS, their anti-doping database, had been hacked. We are working with WADA to establish the nature and extent of this breach of security.
The statement that WADA put out has not addressed the leaked documents, but focused on condemning the hacking itself.
WADA has been informed by law enforcement authorities that these attacks are originating out of Russia. These criminal acts are greatly compromising the effort by the global anti-doping community to re-establish trust in Russia, further to the outcomes of the agency's independent McLaren investigation report.
There's clearly no love lost between WADA and Russia. We could not independently verify who the hackers were, but it's also important to note WADA has not disputed the authenticity of the leaked documents.
As you just heard, all the athletes mentioned in the leaked documents are said to have been granted therapeutic use exemptions, or TUE. The U.S. Anti-Doping Agency says the athletes had legal permission from sports authorities to use those medications. Let's have a quick look and see exactly what this abbreviation really means. According to WADA rules, in certain cases, athletes may use substances on the organization's prohibited list while taking part in competitions. This exemption applies to those who suffer from a medical condition which requires their use. The practices claim to balance the need to give athletes access to critical medication while protecting the interests of clean competitors. Well, Simone Biles has reacted to the incident. The U.S. gymnast explained that she has had a medical condition that requires her to take certain drugs since childhood, adding that she believes in clean sport. Venus Williams has condemned the breach of her privacy by the hackers, emphasizing she has always followed all the rules in getting her TUE. And my colleague Yunan Anil spoke to sports columnist Alan Moore, who says such information on the use of otherwise banned drugs must be made public.
It's not just double standards. I think something that's coming out now and which we can bet $1 on. I'm not a betting man, but I would bet $1 on the fact that there's some of these TUEs, or the therapeutic use exemptions, that now seem to have been backdated. So people had been found or caught with some substance in their system and then were issued with a TUE, which happened with Lance Armstrong. He was caught taking it and then was given effectively a doctor's note. So this is going to come out more and more and more. And when athletes start to say, hold on, I ran clean, I played tennis clean, and yet this person across the net from me or in the next lane to me, they were actually doping up or taking pain-killing medication that they shouldn't have been. It gave them an advantage, or, as which hasn't been spoken about, a lot of these medications are actually masking agents. So they mask other more damaging and more, shall we say, performance-enhancing drugs.
The latest United States Anti-Doping Agency statement on the issue. I believe we can hear it now.
The cyberbullying of innocent athletes being engaged in by these hackers is cowardly and despicable. It's time for the entire international community to stand up and condemn this cyber attack on clean sport and athletes' rights.
Are hackers actually doing the job now for WADA?
Well, we've seen that hackers and whistleblowers have been doing the job for WADA, have been doing the job for USADA as well. I mean, we had, a very brave young lady from Ireland, a masseuse, who was working with Lance Armstrong, who was ridiculed, who was threatened, who was bullied, not by cyber bullies, but by members of the American media and by Lance Armstrong himself. Now it's turned around where people have to do whatever they can to get information to the public domain. Now, again, this balances back to the right of privacy. However, there should be no need that this should be made public in such a way that it should already be in the open. And taking such strong medication just to get through an event in representing the national team, as you said, this shouldn't be. We should be caring more the health of our athletes.
The World Anti-Doping Agency has confirmed its databases had been compromised, adding the attack was carried out by a hacking group known as Fancy Bear. The organization purported to have ties to Russia. The Russian government has dismissed any possibility that it had anything to do with the incident. Well, to get a reaction to the leak from the sports world, we spoke to German triathlete and extreme swimmer Marco Heinrichs and UK sprinter Jamie Bolt. They both believe that it's not fair to suspend some athletes for using banned substances while allowing others to do just that.
I believe this is not fair. There should be a clear course for the athletes. They should be told there are substances they are allowed to take, and there are substances they are not allowed to take. Anything in between just results in confusion and discontent. This is not good. No matter how big the issue of doping is, every country, more or less, has had to deal with it. When it comes to Russia, it's very political. It's aimed at excluding Russian athletes.
The trouble with sport in this day and age is so much money in it. And I feel personally that some people are getting far more protected than others. And it's a real big shame for world sport right now. And people like myself who've been a sports person at the top of their tree, winning world championships and getting Olympic medals, etc. It's very sad to see. I would love to see one day that we are all on an equal playing field.
Lots of stories still to come here on RT International, including former U.S. presidential candidate Senator Bernie Sanders. He's right now outside the White House with demonstrators forming a protest. We'll bring you the story in just a moment.